Hey guys, another totally off the cuff my thoughts on video, but this time it's not about a video game. It's about an anime series that I just finished like 10 minutes ago, and I want to talk about it while my thoughts are fresh, I guess, which all that means is I'm going to be very rambly and a little emotional because that was an amazing series. So I don't usually follow anime seasonal. I usually will watch anime that people recommend me, or just look up something that I'd like. I like specific genres, so I'll immediately call my bias that I do really like slice of life shows with not an extensively deep plot, but something simple that is easy to just like the characters in, and that kind of thing. So immediately I was looking for slice of life shows for the season. And of course, there's like Pop Team Epic, which I wouldn't even call slice of life, but whatever. There was a few shows actually. There were a few shows that caught my eye. One was about camping. It was called like Eurocamp or something. And the other was called A Place Further Than the Universe, which was about girls who go to Antarctica. And I didn't see anything about this show, but I kind of wanted to check it out. I was hearing a lot about the Eurocamp show, so I was like, you know what, let's check out the other one. Maybe not really many people are talking about this one. Oh my god. So the first episode is incredible. I remember being first impressions were super high. It was just a really well done story in just the first episode alone. And I just finished it. So the last episode just came out like today. And oh my god, what an amazing series. It's been a very long time that I was so emotionally invested in an anime series where nothing like super problematic happens. It's just you just love to watch these characters. And I'm pretty sad it's over. Like, I could have easily watched another 25 episodes of this show, but I'm glad it ended when it did. It had a very cohesive plot. There was nothing missing. I didn't think they needed to add anything. I just love the characters so much. But anyway, I'll talk about the plot a little bit. So it's about these four girls who all kind of want to go to Antarctica. That's it, really. Basically, there's one girl who is trying to find a change in her life. She thinks her life's a little boring. She wants to take advantage of her youth. Her name's Kimari, I'm really bad at pronouncing Japanese names. That's what they call her. I was just going to say, yeah, she's trying to take advantage of her youth, trying to do something interesting with her life. She feels like she's just letting time pass by, not doing anything, which is very relatable. I think that's a very relatable thing. And she meets a girl named Shirase, who's kind of has a plan to go to Antarctica because she explains that her mother had gone to Antarctica, and she used to be somebody who would go on expeditions there and stuff, and she had a team to go with, so she's been saving up money to try and go, and her mom never came home, so she's thinking she can maybe find her, some other deal. But she also wants to do it because everyone kind of makes fun of her for wanting to do it. Everyone thinks she's crazy, everyone thinks she's kind of out of her mind, that's such a weird wish, but she's like, I hate them. Like, I want to go just to spite them. And that's a legit reason to do something. And I know that sounds really stupid, but that is and it might sound petty, but so, that's still doing something. It's not like it's hurting anybody. She wants to do it because everyone's telling her she can't, and she wants to prove these people who are basically telling her she can't do what she wants wrong. And that's very nice and relatable. No, not a lot of shows really, cut and dry, that kind of thing. It's a very, very cold sort of motive, but it makes sense. It's super relatable. They meet a few people, two other girls who they kind of either convinced to go, but sort of, they also tag along, and they have their own reasons for going. Some of the characters have incredible stories. It's not like they're the most intricate in backstory and stuff, but it's so well told, and it's so realistic. It blows my mind. It blows my mind that it took so long to see a piece of media that really tells these stories this well. And it's not even that whole thing with the girl being petty and that being kind of a main reason. That's something you don't see very often. It's sort of a territory that might make it there. People, trying to word myself, that a creator might think their character is weak for feeling. people usually associate that with being a bitch or, being petty is, negative, which it kind of is, but it doesn't have to spawn negative actions. It's hard to explain, but like there can be good coming out of wanting to defend yourself, or at least wanting to prove yourself, and maybe in a petty way. But whatever, I'm not going to get super into that. There's a few things I do want to talk about with the show. There's a few like scenes and episodes I want to talk about. First of all, just to get these little things out of the way, the show is like beautiful looking, like absolutely stunning. It looks like a movie at times. Like there were times, especially in the first few episodes, where I was like, what is this scenery? What, like, how are they doing this? This literally looks like movie quality. They're working with a 12 episode budget here. This is insane. It's 13 episodes, but it blew my mind how great this show looked. If anything, I thought the show was going to catch on because it looked so nice. The score and the visuals just blow it out of the water in terms of quality. It's been a hot minute since I've seen an anime that looks seriously this gorgeous. I would argue that there's a lot of good-looking anime out there, and I think most look pretty damn good, all things considered. Even seeing clips and screenshots of that Eurocamp one, I haven't seen the show, but the show looks also very pretty. But for some reason, this show wants to be stunning, and parts of the story have to do with its visuals. There's a big emphasis on kind of the atmosphere and the visuals of Antarctica, which plays into a lot of things. But holy shit, it does look really nice. And if you have any kind of decent kind of eye for visual stuff, I guess, visual quality, I'm sure this show will definitely be up your alley. It's very visually appealing, and it also has a lot of visual, I wouldn't call them gags, but like visual, sort of like foreshadowing or sort of symbolism within what they show and how they show it. If you ever seen, I was watching him earlier. I don't really have a ton of opinions on him, so I won't say neither here nor there on his content. But he did have a video, that Mother's Basement guy on YouTube had a video about the opening to the show, and I didn't really catch on to some of the kind of cool things to do with the opening and how the pacing of it changes and the clips they show change depending on where it is in the opening, and it's a really good opening, by the way. It's really nice. Anyway, there's a few things I want to talk about with the show story-wise. So the four main characters are amazing, by the way. I just really like them, and their dynamic together is really important, and they establish that very early on because you're going to be watching these characters together for a lot of the show. And they're not immediately leaving to go to Antarctica on the show. It takes like a solid amount of episodes for them to finally go there. They have to figure out how they're going to go there, how they're going to make the money, the process of actually traveling there. It takes a while for them to actually get there, but it's totally worth the wait. Like it actually feels like legitimate. Like this is what it takes. It's a journey in many ways, not just in the boat ride there. I was just going to say, the beginning episodes, they establish a lot of character, kind of, I don't know how to describe it, sort of character growth within the characters interacting with each other. So, like, you kind of slowly learn the characters learn each other's personalities and interact with each other in fucking hilarious ways. I love humor in these kind of shows because it's all kind of based on charm. It's not really like a punchline and structured jokes like that. It's not even like there's visual gags, but it's a lot to do with kind of like, oh, that's so charming, and it kind of makes you smile, and it's very nice. It's very calming. It doesn't make you like gut laughing, but it actually got a few chuckles out of me. There are actually some really funny, well-timed jokes in the show. If anything, like most slice of life don't do that, so this is a little different, but there were some funny scenes. But yeah, they establish these characters, how they interact with each other, how they feel about each other, and all these things in between. It's really nice that they did this early on because you're not confused on like how they interact later in the show because they're interacting the entire show. I think that's pretty smart. And one character story that I thought was brilliant, and I'm still not over it. It was like, so basically, there was episodes about the characters as they met them. There was like the first episode was kind of about Shirase, and the second episode was kind of about Hinata, which is like the not red-haired, like blonde-haired girl. there was another episode about the other, I can't even remember her name at the moment, the other girl, the actress girl, and they kind of have these little character moments with them, and then near the end of the show they kind of like redo that, and they add a few more character episodes. They do kind of the last 4 episodes are each kind of about one of the characters, you can tell. And Hinata was a really cool character because she they met her through like a part-time job that she got, and she dropped out of school and she's just kind of been working a part-time job, and you don't really understand why. You can assume why, like you could assume that she dropped out of school for personal reasons and stuff like that, but it's not really explained. She kind of explains that she was just she was like, school wasn't my thing. I didn't enjoy it. And I was like, that's fair. Like, that's actually pretty nice. Like, that's different. It turns out she was kind of, not really bullied, but just sort of like, kind of ridiculed in school. It didn't really feel like she really belonged there. She never really had a lot of like, she never felt really close friends. She felt that she was a little too mature for it. There were people acting very immature and being very shitty. So she kind of, dropped out by herself. Also, by the way, just in case anyone's concerned, this is kind of a spoiler. Not what I'm saying right now, but what I will be talking about in a second. It's like one of the later episodes. It's an emotional scene regardless, so like it's not super, like it's not like a plot twist or anything. It's just an episode that comes out later in the show. So if you don't want it spoiled, I suggest skipping maybe like 2 minutes from now. But yeah, so she blanking what I was gonna say. Yeah, so basically when they get to Antarctica, they broadcast what they're doing because they're out working for like a TV show, and they have kind of like a live cam where like one of the girl's parents can say hi, and Hinata, a whole bunch of her old high school friends came to say like hi and how they were proud of her, and she like completely like covered the screen and then ran away. And their friends were like, oh, what's going on? And she's like, nothing, I was just, I tripped, haha, like, don't worry about me. And then you see her by herself, like, smashing ice and screaming and saying like, piss off or whatever. She's just like really pissed off. And slowly, Shirase realizes it and starts trying to like figure it out and talk to her about it. But she's very, very, very like, no, I don't want to talk about it. Like, we're fine. Like, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. I don't have to burden you guys. That's a big thing with her character. I think Hinata's probably my favorite character. Her and Shirase are great characters. She's so mature in, like, the perfect ways. There was an episode where she lost her passport, and they were, like, trying all these things to get it back, but she hated... Or at least she hated the fact that they were trying so hard and ruining their time. She was like, if I can't go, I can't go. That's my mistake. Like, don't worry about me. Like, don't pity me. Like, actually don't pity me because it's making me very uncomfortable. But, like, they were like, we're your friends. But it was, like, it was nice to see a character who's not just like, oh, no, like, I need help kind of thing. Like, I mean, there are obviously characters like that, but it was very realistically done. It's hard for me to describe exactly. I'd have to really, like, watch the episode in depth to really describe it, but whatever. Back to what I was saying. So, yeah, she ends up like not really knowing what to do because she isn't sure if she should forgive these girls that were on a track team because they didn't defend her. They were like her friends, but they never contacted her. They didn't bother with her. Like, why are they suddenly there now? Like, and that is the most real potent theme ever. Like, that is so relatable. And so like in the end, Shirase gets in the camera and says, like, you guys don't deserve a second chance. Like, you hurt her, and, like, you have to deal with the shitty things that you did. Like, piss off. Like, you don't deserve her. And I was like, oh, that hits so hard in so many places. And I think it's a theme that a lot of people can relate to, but not a lot of people talk about. I've really never seen a show tell a story like that. Granted, I haven't seen a ton of media like this, but it's cool. I very much respect it. That was a really cool episode. Even the final episodes were super heart-wrenching. I'll admit it. I definitely was crying like 20 minutes ago. I had tears in my eyes. That was a very, very emotional last episode. It was happy. It was not like emotionally sad. The second to last episode was friggin' sad. I couldn't. The second to last episode ends. And I thought it was the last episode. It's episode 12. That's usually how animes go. Episode 12 is their last one. And it, like, hurt. Like, it was painful watching that final scene. I have not, like, it was like not like a crying like, oh no, like that's so sad. It was like a huh, like what, and it was like a pit in your stomach. You were like, that's terrible. Like that is so painfully sad. It was a good / bad thing, but man, it was structured amazingly for you to feel that pain and, like, you know, feel the character, what the character's feeling. It was amazing. I really like the show. I could talk about it for probably hours and hours and hours, but I highly recommend that you guys watch it. And obviously I'm going to say that, but the only other reason I'm saying that is because from what I can tell, it's not doing as hot as a lot of the other shows are. And that's totally fine. It's not everyone's cup of tea. I'm not saying that it needs to, like, blow up and be the most popular show. That's ridiculous. But I do think a lot of people pick and choose the shows they watch in a season, and they kind of dismiss ones that might not be as popular instead of actually, you know, looking into it and seeing the ones they might enjoy. And again, that's totally understandable if you're more into watching shows that are popular because you want to kind of be within that, you know, that group of people talking about it. You don't want to, like, really be left behind. I mean, like, everyone's talking about Pop Team Epic, so I'm sure a lot of people are watching that show just to watch it. And I'm not going to dismiss anybody who's watching it, but there are definitely some people who I know those jokes wouldn't really land with. It's just not really their type of humor, not really their cup of tea, but they're kind of just watching it to watch it, which is, again, it's fine. You can do what you want. But I think that kind of goes along with the idea of a lot of people choose kind of just follow what other people are talking about, which is kind of why I want to talk about this show, because I think it deserves people's time and they deserve to get some money for it. And I think they probably are making money. I'm not saying it's not popular at all, but I do think it deserves a lot of credit. And I haven't seen the other shows. I don't know what Eurocamp's like. I mean, there's probably shows that have done stuff like this. I'm not going to say that I'm like this all-knowing anime god, but I really enjoyed this, and I think it is super, super high quality, and it's one of the best slice of life shows I think I've ever seen, and I've seen quite a bit of slice of life in my day, and I highly recommend it, just so the name gets out there and people can enjoy it, and a show like this can strive, because I think more shows this good-hearted and honest should come out, because it seriously is so beautiful and, like, more than just the scenery or, you know, more than one way. It really is just a fantastically beautiful show altogether. I just really loved it. I'm going to keep rambling if I don't stop right now. Please go check it out. It's on Crunchyroll, so nobody has excuses. Crunchyroll is literally free, like, if you have, you know, 480p or whatever. If not, buy a Crunchyroll account. It's totally worth it. I'm not sponsored by Crunchyroll because I don't have any subscribers, but please check out this show, A Place Further Than the Universe. There's a Japanese name for it too, but I don't remember at the top of my head. Thanks for watching me ramble about anime. This is a little bit different, but whatever. See ya.